Alright guys, it's June 22nd. We are done crop spraying, thank goodness. And now we are planting some trees. We picked up 40 trees, 40 of these little evergreen trees. There's a very hot week coming our way, like mid-30s. Not looking forward to that. The crop is, it's dying up there. We've pretty much given up on the crop. We're next year country, so we're next year. Crop's gonna be awesome next year. So what we're doing is we're drilling a hole. We're watering the trees, plunking our trees in, backfilling the trees, and then we're gonna come back along and then re-water the trees again. Jared's got the handy dandy sign grinder to cut the plastic tub off the bottom of those trees. Right, Jared?
What?
You got this fancy dancy side grinder to cut the bottom of the tub off?
I go zoomy.
Zoom zoom. I like zoom zoom. Got it.
If my tree man would hurry up.
Gotta try and get it right there. Brian's in the skid steer. No? What's wrong? Oh, the tree's gonna tip over. Oh, I see. Hold on, I think they're hooked together here. Awesome possum. It's already 29 degrees out. None of us really are big fans of the heat other than Big Frank. Big Frank loves the heat. Everyone else, we prefer just to sleep during the day and work all night. You gonna show us how this is done, Jared?
Okay.
Got this side, Jared. Just not trying to be that guy or anything, but you guys got this down to a science, or?
Getting there.
That one hit me right in the face.
Hit it. Stand her up a bit here. Ow!
Well, that looks like some pretty nice topsoil. I'm being sarcastic about that. That's about all we got here. Southwest Saskatchewan. That's the best. That's the best topsoil we got right there. Hey, how come we don't do this at night, Jared?
I asked Bob, why don't we do it when it's 40 above?
Oh, well, that's the exact
week.
opposite. I hope you're being sarcastic. That's it.
Very. I'd be in a
Frankles actually likes the heat, right?
No.
No, you don't like the heat. Rickles, you like 40 degrees Celsius, right?
That's my favorite.
It's just, that's not true. He's lying. So how it's actually held is the forks are right on the edge of this plastic. You see that? Right there.
Oh, we were gonna water those.
You did.
I'll come along and I'll start watering them too.
Like the holes.
All the holes.
Yeah, that's what Bob was.
Probably should water the holes.
Well, you could ask him, I guess. What else do you need?
I am no tree planting professional, but the trees that I have planted, I am batting at 50%.
playing.
I don't know if that was planned. That was planned, right, guys? We planned that.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was totally planned.
Got those trickles.
There's Papa Bear.
Ouch! Son of a...
What happened?
Pokies.
Oh, he poked himself.
So many pokies.
Oh.
Bloody.
Okay, I'm gonna start watering. I guess Frankels is watering. Frankels, sorry, my bad. Don't everyone insult you like no. We're using dugout water. You don't want to use well water. Our well water's got too high salts in it, and it's kind of hard on the plants. I know you guys got some questions like, Mike, where the crap do you buy trees in your country? Because you obviously don't have any, good sir, and you're right. We can order them in. There's different places that grow them, and we can order them in. Then we just have this 53-foot reefer. Let me just see if I can get up here. And then we just stock all the trees in here. We got some grain auger parts. Grab those on the trip. We got the AC going in this operation, and it is pretty freaking awesome. Mike, aren't you just drying out the trees? Yeah, that's all we're doing. But at least it's breathable in this puppy when you're in here working, moving trees around. So what do we got here? Let's look and see what we're actually growing. Baby blue. Deer resistant. Interesting. I don't know if that's actually a thing. Cold hardy. This is what we need, you guys. Can get down to minus 46 degrees Celsius or minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That is actually just barely good enough. But I guess it is what it is. Oh yeah, I guess there's probably quite a few people like, Mike, are you ever gonna get to take the R4060 deer out for, I don't know, a spin? Well, you see, this is my older brother Terry's sprayer, and it is not mine. Terry's not a big fan of YouTube, I've told you guys that before. So he has really no interest of letting me do any sort of review on it for YouTube purposes. And of course, since it's his sprayer, we want to make sure that we respect that. But I am sure it's pretty freaking awesome. I think we have had some issues though with the exact apply, with those little solenoids or whatnot burning out, and they're freaking expensive, just saying. So from what I know, I don't know if we would order the exact apply again, just saying. But otherwise, I think it's pretty awesome. We got the old Bert over there on a mower. We love the birds. Let's head back. And now we're on to the next location. So all these corrals that you see here in the background, we actually used to have cattle back in the day. I think we had like 400 and 400 feeders or something like that. But then we quickly realized that we couldn't do both. We can't farm and have cattle. Or at least we couldn't anyway. We just couldn't manage it all. And it didn't help that I am not a cow guy. In fact, I despise cows. So, hey, everyone to their own. Some people love them. That's awesome. I, on the other hand, am not. I am a farmer through and through. I just want to sit in a tractor and go up and back, 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 up and back all day. So we're just gonna keep planting some trees around the farmyard here. Briggles, are you hot, buddy? Like, you look hot, but like, you know, wink, wink.
If it was about 4 degrees hotter,
you'd melt.
Not be here.
Oh, you would. You'd be gone.
Just
Be a little pool. Be a little pool of Rick.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Oh man. Mike, what are you doing here? We're just trying to level, do some leveling. Trying to create a place to put some trees. And we're gonna drill some holes. Let's go for a walk, shall we? So we haven't used these corrals in probably 15 years, something like that. We need to do a lot of cleanup out here. It is on our to-do list. We made them all out of steel, drill stem tubing, put caps on them, and then we put sucker rod through them. But the problem is when you weld this sucker rod, because we actually drill a hole, that's not just butted up, it's drilled a hole and went right through, and then we just weld them. It actually heats it up and it makes it very, here I'll show you, this is what happens. Or if you get a really big bull in there who decides that it's gonna come out, it's gonna come out, and then we'll just break it off. So, plant some trees. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have yourself an awesome one. I have the best subscribers on all YouTube, hands down. You guys are freaking awesome. So it's still June 22nd, and I'm actually out doing some crop checking. So I thought I would show you guys a few things here. So this is durum. Not a very good crop of durum. This is my Pop-Tart box here to give you a little bit more representation. So, let's see if I can't zoom in on this just a little bit. See this little guy? He's shooting ahead. Look at that. You know what his height is? I don't know. Hold on here. See if I can't. Hold on here. There we go. See what his height is? Right here. Pretty much the height of the box. Some of these guys are just going to die. This guy might have got chewed off. This guy definitely didn't though. He's heading out. These guys here. No, that's a head. He's heading out. That's a head. He's heading out. That's crazy. So anyway, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this is not a very good crop. And this is on lentil stubble. Mike, did you have any chemical damage out here? Nope, not in this area. Not in this area, nope. It's just super dry and hasn't really rained much. So, let's see, I'm gonna pull some of these out. See, look at these roots. They're just dry. There's just nothing in them. See this ground? It's actually hot. No moisture in that ground whatsoever. So most of this crop, it's actually going to die. It will die in the boot or die trying to come out of the boot, which means it's trying to head out. You can see it's already quite stressed, right? Because look at these leaves, they're all turning yellow. That's not a good sign. See if I can turn around this way. Maybe you can see a little bit better. That's not a very good sign. That means they're drying up. Mike, has this happened before? Oh yeah, it happens all the time. So last time it happened was, I think it was in 2017, 2018. We had a pretty severe drought. 2018, I have lots of pictures. I'll throw them up on the Patreon. I have lots of pictures that it got to about this stage and it literally just burnt out. It literally just died and turned completely yellow right to the top, and there was zero yield. Now, there will be some yield in some places. This will die. There's going to be low spots, low divots, sloughs, whatever you want to call them. They will have a little bit extra moisture in the ground, just due to if you get the showers and the rains, because we did have a little bit of rain come through, as you guys know. That's where the water's going to run, right? This here is about as good as it's going to get. Still drying up. And it's still going ahead. Look at these little heads. There's just going to be... So it's tough to say, but I project 15 bushel. Now, if it started really raining when it's trying to fill the head, you know, maybe you get something. If it stayed hot while it's trying to fill the head, you might be less. So, that's farming. So normally it should be about here. And then start shooting ahead. Okay? But need my shovel here. The ground's too hard. I need my shovel. That way we can just take a big scoop out and see where the moisture level is. I don't know if I have it in my truck or not. I don't think so. I think I took it out. Okay, I don't know if you can see it though. You see how it's blue right there? It's probably hard to make out, but there is a lot of places, and it's even a little light blue right in here. See that? That tells you that that is excessively heat stressed, okay? And when it's light blue like that, it's trying to, you can see it's actually starting to head out. See those little heads on it? It's literally just trying to push out a seed before it dies. Those places are gonna be nothing, okay? Anywhere where it's super blue like this and it's super short, this is just gonna die. Then when you come down here, it's a little darker in here. You should be able to get something. But that's life. So I always said that like 8 years out of 10 early seeded crops do well for us. This is going to be one of those 9 or 10s. I think the later seed stuff's going to do a little better. Obviously if it's not going to rain, well then it doesn't really matter. Next two week forecast, I don't see any coming. Maybe it might blow up a thunderstorm or something, but there's really no water laying around to really draw from. So I see lots of 30s. Even saw a 36. That's excessively hot for this time of year. We don't normally get that hot till July. So, isn't that something? Something to be proud of right there, I'm pretty sure. Okay, guys. I just thought I would just do a little crop checking with you, that's all. Oh, and I've noticed that there's a, like obviously we have gophers. Gophers are chewing off and doing quite a bit of damage, but grasshoppers are making their way back. I've heard there's different patches, like grasshoppers come in seasons typically, and they normally get worse as they keep, like gophers, they finally get so bad then they somehow die off. But they're definitely making a comeback. There isn't really much for grasshoppers out here. I haven't seen any. Try a look. I was just 10-15 miles away, and there was definitely a lot of grasshoppers. Like they were just jumping all over the place. I should have took some video for you there. Don't know why I didn't. Yeah. Well, I think you guys get the idea. Hey, there's always an upside because I'm an optimist. We'll burn less fuel combining. We'll have less grain to haul, so less wear and tear on the trucks, less butt time in the trucks, less wear and tear on the tires, less work, really, less work. And harvest should go a lot quicker because you'll be able to make a lot better time. The grain carts aren't going to be excessively busy. There's probably going to be hardly any grain bags. Should be a lot less grain bags. There's lots of pros, you guys. And farming is always next to your country. I think I've already told you that. That's what every farmer, any farmer, they're always going to say it's always next to your country. This year's over pretty much, or at least maximum potential for yield is definitely over. Because you got to remember that most of your yield is set at the 5-leaf stage. That was a long time ago. And it's heading out. It can't be heading out and be this tall, and it's going to think, if you think that's going to do anything, that's not going to do anything. But you know what? It's actually dry all over the world. It's quite dry. I'm sure obviously there's pockets where it's quite wet, but in the province of Saskatchewan, we're quite dry. Western Canada, we're quite dry. Talking to some people down in Montana, as you know, Tony Fassett, like his places where he's quite dry. People in North Dakota, they're saying they're quite dry. People in some Texas are saying that they're quite dry. So it's just quite, people in Australia and some places are telling me that it's quite dry. I'm just going by what people were telling me here, but it's quite dry. So if it's going to be quite dry, then that means, you know, potentially there is chance that commodity prices will rise, right? Because there's just not a crop out there in the world. Well, there will be, but it's just quite dry. So it's going to be reduced yield. Reduced yield means less crop. Less crop means less food. That will probably end up driving the food price. Mike, how about your lentils? That's a good question. Let's just walk across the road. Oh yeah, I just wanted to point out on this derm as well. Come on, you guys can't see it. The sun just isn't working in our favor here. But it's just very blue. As you can tell, it's just kind of wilting. So if we get 2 more weeks of 30 plus degrees Celsius heat with wind blowing, which is technically forecasted for us, this will probably die, is what I'm guessing. I've seen it die before in a boot. We have some fields that are already 10% dead in the boot, and we haven't had this rest of this hot weather yet, so it can happen. But on what I was going to say is what can really even make matters worse and really kick the crop in the pants is 2 nights ago. Was it 2 nights ago? Yeah, 2 nights ago, we actually froze. If you can believe that. June 20th. It was either June 20th or June 21st. June 20th, I think it was. We got down to -2 in some places, and then just basically right to the 0 mark here in other places, depending on where our land is kind of spread out. So that is just like a gigantic kick in the pants. Like, the crop is already stressed to the freaking nines out here. It's literally dying of lack of moisture. Just like if you're walking through the Kalahari Desert and your water bottle ran dry, you're not going to make it very long. And to make matters worse, when you're trying to sleep in the desert, from the little bit that I know, it can get very cold at night as well. So then you're freezing to death, and then you're dying of dehydration, and you mix all that up with all these different stresses, and then you got slapped on the back with some sunburn, because, you know, you got to spray the weeds out of it. Otherwise you're going to have a serious weed wreck, and you can't have that. You got to make sure you control your weeds. If you don't control your weeds, what if you're going to put a pulse or something on this next year? You got to be able to control those broadleaves, because you can't control it in the pulse, right? So you got to get them now. So that's farming. You gotta farm, and you gotta farm for a crop. You can't farm for a drought. But that's how it is. So that's farming. So anyways, yeah, I just want to add that little insert. Okay, we're gone.